Hey everybody, happy Monday. It's the healthiest day of the week, as we like to say. And that's why, we were saying, you saw us saying hi to a lot of people on here as we were getting started. And the great thing here is we have a lot of people that come together every single week, moving themselves forward. And this is one of the best ways we like to start. So one, hello to everyone who catches the recording. A lot of people catch the recording later on, or you have people sometimes, like I see someone driving right now, listening while it in. Hey, how's it going? Drive safe over there. And each week we talk about a topic of health that helps us gear up for the week, stay focused, and really supports us and realize like, wow, there's a lot of people over here making big changes and learning from each other. So this week we're actually going to keep this call semi-short. We normally open up with some stories and victories, which are really cool, but kind of keep this on the shorter side this week. We're going to save those for next week. And kind of jump into what we're talking about tonight. One, I want to welcome anyone that's new on the call, and I think sometimes we generally have people that pop on to kind of learn like, well, what's some different pieces to what this health program is all about. So if you're brand new and not even started playing yet, welcome. Glad to see you on here. So want to jump into tonight's topic, which is about the topic of focus. We've had some really good topics this last little bit here. Focusing on, I still think one of the favorites was Lori's, focusing on, are you focused or food focused? We had some great fall tips here recently. We've covered a ton of different things here. Hold on, make sure someone's muted real quick. And this week, we're actually, the topic of health that we're covering as we gear up for another week is the topic and the habit of focus. Here, hold on a second, let me make sure someone else needs to be muted here. I can't find them. There they are. Got it. Is the topic of focus. For many of you guys, some of you guys are brand new. Some of you guys are maybe even considering, starting your plan, your nutrition plan, and working on your health goals. Some of you are far down the line, and some of you are years past your initial health goal. So what we want to talk about today with that is just that topic of focusing and actually sometimes refocusing. And one thing that we've done every fall/winter is we've started kind of a focus group, a challenge group, people that basically set a timeline to kind of get refocused. So that's actually what we're kind of setting up for is for next week. We're going to use our health huddle to be a topic of conversation of health, and we're giving people a blank slate to kind of say, all right, where am I at in my health? What's going well? And where do I want to go over this next little bit? So next week, October 31st, and that's why we chose that date, the day that candy's everywhere. Like literally it's going to be like coming to your door constantly. It's going to be at your door. It's literally going to be everywhere. We're going to focus on, starting off and setting new goals for the next new seasons. And the other reason we want to do this is fall is a time, like we went over on the tips of the call last week, is that it can kind of start to be like, well, where do I want to focus my time? Whether you're starting, whether you're in the middle of your journey, or whether you're post and you're keeping going. Because as you know, our program isn't just about losing weight; it's about becoming healthy in all areas of your life. So that's when we're going to get started. And these are some things that I wanted to encourage you guys to consider as we start off a fresh slate. Is one, just the habit itself of always being like, all right, where am I at right now? What's my next goal? Starting and stopping, because if you don't get refocused or focus at different times, things will just start to be mundane, or things will start to slip. Distractions will happen, especially this time of year. It is a true habit of health. I'm going to have Don Chow speak on that in a second. But for you in this next season, wherever you're at, I'm speaking to a large spectrum of people, and especially even one that catches the recording. What is your focus in this next season? That's what the brilliant part of setting a 4-week time together. Some of you guys are already in the span of different focus things for yourself, but together, we could all set new goals this next little bit here. And the beauty of this is some of you might initially be like, all right, well, weight loss. No, not just weight loss. What I want to encourage you guys on is, what is your focus for this next season? What can you start and stop and look back on what you've improved on? So as we start off next week, and you have an entire week to prepare or less, depending on when you catch the recording of this call, is what areas do you particularly want to focus on in your health journey? All of our nutrition plans start with eating 6 times a day. And we're going to be going into some of these topics where we break down some of the physiological setups of the body and different things that we do on our plans on some of the future calls, because I think that's a really good, piece of information a lot of people have questions on. But really, our plans really revolve around eating 6 times a day for your goals. Many of you guys are on the 5-in-1 plan. Maybe you guys have switched over to a different fueling plan to get your nutritional intake for the day. What do you want your goal to be for this season? Because part of having focus is resetting your mind, having a blank slate so you know what you're doing and what you're up to. So, wherever your nutrition's at with that, but also maybe you don't want to stay as focused just on that. Maybe where you're mostly wanting to focus on is this right here, your healthy mind, or maybe relationship, maybe sleep, maybe healthy emotion. It really doesn't matter. What I really encourage you guys as you're listening in here, or maybe catching this as a recording or catching it again, is writing down, actually taking the time to be like, wow, what do I really want to focus on this next little bit? What's right for me? That's another benefit of being a part of this group, is you're constantly going to get asked and encouraged to kind of start thinking. And I love it when this community encourages me to start thinking outside the box. So that's really the topic that, besides giving you guys the information, is the topic of tonight, is knowing that focusing and refocusing is a habit of health. And a lot of the things that we've covered, that's a big part of it. And then knowing that it can be, I love this because this is what my wife always says, think critically. What is it for you? And having a plan and setting a timeline so you can look back and realize how much progress you've really made. Because another thing we talk about constantly is giving ourselves credit, props, and pats on the back for how far we're moving forward, and also making it a habit every time we do that. So, Dawn, I'm going to go over a little bit of the things after the call to kind of get to prepare for next week. But, you got healthy many years ago. You've done some different challenge times with us. Did you want to speak to some of these things that we're talking about tonight on the topic of focus and being focused in your health?
I would love to, Brad. Thank you. And, when you were talking about it's all about the seasons, and that some of us on this call are just getting started. Some of us, it's been years past, and I happen to be 6 years past my initial weight loss, right? So I lost 45 pounds and was able to, that was my goal then. Then I was able to have a baby, a healthy pregnancy, and lose the weight after, and I've kept that weight off. But so each season, the beauty of refocusing and continuing the healthy habit of refocusing is amazing. And just for me in this season, the holidays, holy smokes. I mean, we just got back from a trip. A lot of us were together actually. And then, we're heading into a busy time of year. I've got family coming. I've got a couple trips coming up. Those are times when I know it's easy for me to slip. I eat 6 times a day. That's a habit that hasn't gone away since that very first initial goal and the initial time that I lost weight. That has not gone away. But what I eat every 6 hours, that is debatable sometimes, because when we're traveling, we don't always have things packed with us. And so one of the things that I just love to refocus on is I'm going to eat every 2 to 3 hours, now being very intentional of what I'm fueling my body with. Right. And Brad, I'm really excited for the next 4 weeks for this 4-week fall health challenge, because this is a time of year when little things like a little piece of candy here or there, or a little cinnamon dolce latte here or there can add up. It can really kind of derail me from what I really want. So that is something I'm focusing on, is really what I'm eating 6 times a day, and then really focusing on a healthy mind. I just thought of that as we came back from a trip and how vital that is. So it's not only what I'm fueling my body with, but what I'm fueling my mind with. So over the next 4 weeks, I've actually set a goal for myself. I'm going to finish reading 2 of the books I've started. And so I'm going to take a little bit of time every day. And then I'm also going to take a little time every day to focus on my breathing, because that's so important for me to practice in the stop, challenge, choose process. Because I kid you not, and just blink if this has ever happened to you, has something ever ended up in your mouth and you were like, how did that get there? Wait a second, that's a piece of candy from the bowl by the front door. I mean, I've totally had that happen. Like, talk about unconscious. Like, wow, I literally picked it up, unwrapped it, popped it in my mouth, and woke up with it there, So it's being conscious and focusing on taking some deep breaths. And in any moment where I'm faced with a decision, whether that be in my family life or my parenting life or what I'm putting in my body, it's being able to take a deep breath, recenter, focus on what I want, and then make that decision moving forward. So Brad, I'm excited for the next 4 weeks. I've already set my goals out. I know what I want to accomplish. And I'm really excited to see what's going to happen, because it's amazing. So much can happen in just 4 weeks, and it doesn't take very long to shift and refocus.
Totally. And I love the example, Don. I love just the things that you threw out, because that gave some good tangible tips, like you're going to read books, focus on your breathing. Refocusing and focusing and giving yourself seasons allows you to realize where you want to make progress on. So these were just some last little tips before I go over kind of how this will work. Is one, just again, since we're sharing all the tips that people are constantly asking, Don, how do you lose 45 pounds and keep it off? Like you never seem to, you struggle on that. One, it's always a work in progress. You know, all the people online, there's so many people. And again, if you're newer on the line, like if you looked across the board here, like we have incredible stories that would literally inspire you like to no end. You wouldn't believe like what's happened. And I wish I could tell you the whole thing that's have changed in my health. So for all the newer people online, I hope you just know that there's a lot of changes happening around you. And this has changed my life and my entire family's life. But the tip for this evening is all those different reasons why you refocus and getting into the habit of refocusing and setting mini goals for yourself. But also, you guys know that you've probably seen this habit take place in your life where you start to fall away from something that was starting to become routine, or something messes it up, or you get sick, or someone comes in from out of town, and then you constantly know, I need to get back into the groove, or I need whatever. It can be not even health related. Know that another tip is when it seems impossible, whatever it is in your life, all you need to do is get a couple wins. You just need to take some action. And that is literally the cure to almost anything. So if you're on this line right now and you're thinking of getting started, I would encourage you to just get started. If you're, like me, and you're like, wow, fall's already kind of like thrown off my routine, just set a date like we're doing right now, get your goals set, and just jump back in, whatever it may be. And that's why I wanted to go over all those different examples. So basically, next week, the Health Huddle. I realize it's Halloween. We're still going to do a short call. I know a lot of people will catch the recording. We'll make sure it's available right away. But in the meantime, start to do these things right here. Oh, by the way, so the 31st, we'll do a Health Huddle every single week with a topic, and we'd actually love to have you guys hear some different things you want to hear on. We can tailor what we already have planned. If enough people want to share a few different things, we will finish up on the 28th of November, the weekend right after Thanksgiving, you guys, so that we can celebrate what we made progress on through this entire season. And the last thing that I want to encourage you guys, and I do so many calls with so many amazing people that are like, I want to do this. Seems like other people are doing better. Hold on, I have to mute somebody real quick. And the last thing I want to share with you guys, it's not about progress, or it's not about perfection, it's about progress. And you should never compare yourself to anyone else, because everyone here has different goals. That's why we went over the different things here for different people. So again, know your nutrition plan that you want. And if you need to have clarification, please sit back with your health coach. I would take measurements. I would write down your starting weight. These are just ideas. You don't have to do all of them. But I would also mark down things that you can tangibly accomplish. Don wrote down reading 2 books, focusing on breathing. And I would encourage Don to be like, well, set a goal for how much time you want to spend on that each week. So you can say, hey, I made this much progress. And you can also notate when you maybe did above just that amount or below what you were hoping to do. So you can say, hey, I didn't do it exactly right this week, but it's not about perfection. It's about progress. I'm going to do more this next week. So here's the last few things. Think about that this next week. Really take that time. And as you're getting maybe refocused for this week, but also tell your health coach, because here's the thing about communication. Your coach wants to support you on these things. And so giving them a refresh of where you're at and what you want to accomplish will only make them come alongside you even more. And then here's the other thing. Post that. There will be an option to post it in the Facebook support client pages, so you guys can all see our progress together. So I still haven't cooked up everything I'm working on this week, but I want to congratulate everyone on here. I'm looking at Bev and different people on the line. I see Lori right now. I see Don and Brian. Well, I see Don. It says Don and Brian on your thing there. But I just know how many people have changed their lives, and I know how many progress areas you've increased in this arena. So take the week. That's what it'll look like. There will be our Health Huddle next week where we'll kind of kick off on some of this stuff. And if you do have specific questions about what nutrition plan is right for you or where you want to be this season, make sure to have an in-depth conversation with the person, your health coach, so that they can make sure that this is dialed in. Some people might take a little bit of different approach to the season. Just make sure you have whatever plan it is you want dialed in so you can make a plan. And again, this is the last plug for this is why we do it during the holidays. Do you know how many different times over the next little bit people are going to be throwing things at you, or different things, or different situations, or different gatherings? When you have a plan, it gets so easy to be like, oh no, that's my plan, I've got it. And then also when people know your plan, they will support you on that plan. I think that's everything I have for you guys this week, but I will leave you with my last favorite topic, or my last favorite point about refocusing during the season is when you focus on this, not only do you feel better when you're in the motion, especially at a time where most people are gaining 10 to 15 pounds and losing every bit of gain of healthy habits they had. You don't have to do that, but also you can spend more time focusing on the reason for the season, which is actual relationships and enjoying the people around you. So with that being said, I hope you guys all have a great week. I can't wait to hear some of the goals next week. For those that want to pop on, they can kind of sneak away for a few minutes between trick-or-treating. Would love to hear kind of what your goals are and what you're focusing on. The rest will catch on the recording, and we'll have a place for it to post it. So looking forward to a solid 4 weeks with all of you and personally taking my health to the next level. So thank you all for being on tonight. It's great seeing you. And thank you, Don. Great tips. I'm actually going to throw book reading into my goals for these 4 weeks too, as well, because I have 2 that I want to get after as well. Good night, everybody.